In the shadows of midnight, an encrypted line crackled to life. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's stern voice pierced the quiet, delivering a chilling ultimatum to Burkina Faso's defiant leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. You have 48 hours to step down, hand over power, and restore our deals, or else the full weight of consequences will crush your nation. As the clock began, its relentless tick, alliances trembled, secrets surfaced, and two worlds collided in a high-stakes showdown that could spark a global fire or forge an unexpected path to respect. Dive into the drama and stay hooked with Faso Histories. Hit that like, comment, and share to spread the story. Subscribe now to Faso Histories for more gripping tales that bring history to life. A piercing ring shattered the silence of a moonless night, carrying Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's steely voice across continents to Burkina Faso's fearless leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. You have 48 hours to resign or surrender, or face consequences that will shake your nation to its core. The ultimatum hung like a storm cloud, threatening to plunge two nations into a whirlwind of conflict, with the world left guessing what or else could unleash as the clock began its relentless countdown. In Jerusalem, Netanyahu sat in his high-security office, surrounded by flickering screens displaying intelligence reports on Burkina Faso's recent moves. Traoré's bold decision to cut Israeli trade deals, redirecting his country's gold and cotton profits to new partners, had struck a nerve. The Prime Minister's advisors whispered of risks. Traoré's growing influence in Africa could shift regional power. Meanwhile, in Ouagadougou's dusty capital, Traoré stood in a cramped command center, his face unreadable as he ended the call. The young captain, who had risen to power through a coup, knew this was no empty threat. Israel's reach was long, and Burkina Faso's economy was fragile. Yet surrender felt like betraying his people's fight for independence. He summoned his inner circle battle-hardened generals, loyal aides, and a trusted childhood friend, each voice urging defiance while weighing the dangers of sanctions, or worse. Outside, the city buzzed with unease as rumors of the ultimatum spread through markets and WhatsApp groups, igniting fear and pride in equal measure. Traoré paced, recalling his promise to protect his nation's resources, his mind racing with plans to rally allies. In Israel, Netanyahu faced pressure too. Some cabinet members questioned the ultimatum's wisdom, while others saw Traoré's defiance as a direct challenge to their influence. A leaked report hinted at Burkina Faso's talks with rival powers, fueling Netanyahu's resolve. As the first hours ticked by, a strange signal jammed a local radio station in Burkina Faso, broadcasting static before cutting out a glitch or a warning. Traoré's tech team scrambled to investigate, finding no source, while his supporters began gathering in the streets, waving flags under the stars. Diplomats worldwide made frantic calls, hoping to defuse the crisis, but both leaders stood firm, each convinced their path was just. With 36 hours left, a cryptic message arrived at Traoré's desk, offering a back channel to negotiate, but only if he acted fast. The world watched, hearts pounding, as the stakes grew higher, wondering if courage or calamity would define the dawn. As dawn broke over a world on edge, the first whispers of Netanyahu's 48-hour ultimatum to Captain Ibrahim Traoré rippled through global headlines, igniting fear and fury. Could this spark a clash that would engulf nations, or was it a high-stakes bluff hiding a deeper game? In Ouagadougou, the streets buzzed with life as Traoré's supporters flooded the capital, their chants of defiance echoing through dusty markets, waving green and red flags under a blazing sun. The young leader, barely sleeping, met with his advisors in a sweltering room, mapping out survival. Phone calls to allies in Mali and Niger brought promises of support. But Traoré knew time was short. He walked among his people, shaking hands and sharing stories of their fight for control over their land's golden crops, his words fueling their resolve. Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, Netanyahu faced a storm of his own protesters gathered outside his office, some demanding peace, others cheering his stand against Traoré's bold moves to cut Israel's influence. Intelligence reports confirmed Burkina Faso's new deals with rival powers, pushing Netanyahu to double down, his team quietly preparing economic pressures and cyber defenses. The clock ticked past the 24-hour mark, and tensions spiked when a key Burkina Faso trade website crashed briefly, raising fears of an Israeli cyber jab. Traoré's tech crew scrambled, restoring it. But the incident sent a chill through his ranks. Was this the or else starting to unfold? In a daring move, Traore broadcast a speech on local radio, his voice steady, vowing to protect his nation's future, which sparked even larger crowds chanting his name. Across the globe, social media exploded with "Stand with Traore" and "Back down Bibi," splitting opinions and amplifying the stakes. A secret envoy from a neutral African nation slipped into Ouagadougou, whispering to Traore about a possible deal to ease tensions, but it came with strings compromise on trade terms. Traore hesitated, knowing any step back could weaken his people's trust. In Jerusalem, Netanyahu's advisors debated their next move, aware that pushing too hard could alienate allies. As night fell, a mysterious drone was spotted near a Burkina Faso military base, vanishing before anyone could act accident or signal. Families in both nations hugged loved ones tighter, while diplomats worked feverishly to bridge the gap. With half the deadline gone, the world held its breath, wondering if Traore's defiance or Netanyahu's resolve would bend first, or if the unseen or else was already creeping closer, ready to change everything. As the second day of Netanyahu's 48-hour ultimatum to Captain Ibrahim Traoré dawned, a leaked audio of the chilling or else threat went viral, setting social media ablaze and pushing the world closer to a breaking point. Would Traore's defiance ignite a global crisis, or was a hidden deal still possible in the ticking hours left? In Ouagadougou, Traore's office was a hive of tension as he uncovered a bombshell. One of his trusted generals had been passing sensitive plans to a foreign contact, possibly linked to Israeli intelligence. In a heated confrontation, Traore exposed the traitor, his voice steady but eyes burning, rallying his remaining team to tighten security. He took to the airwaves, broadcasting a fiery speech to millions, vowing that Burkina Faso would never bow to outside pressure, his words sparking massive rallies across the country, with crowds chanting for sovereignty under a scorching sun. In Jerusalem, Netanyahu faced growing heat. World leaders, including a tense call from the U.S., urged him to pull back, while his hardline supporters pushed for tougher action against Traore's bold moves to redirect Burkina Faso's gold and trade away from Israel. Intelligence briefs hinted at Traore's new alliances with powers unfriendly to Israel, fueling Netanyahu's resolve to hold firm. As the deadline neared its halfway mark, a strange power flicker hit a key Burkina Faso military base, gone as quickly as it came. Sabotage or coincidence? Traore's engineers found no clear cause, but the incident deepened the unease gripping his inner circle. Meanwhile, secret talks unfolded in a neutral European city, where envoys floated a compromise, shared trade deals in exchange for peace. Traore's wife, hidden with their children in a safe house, sent him a message of strength while he weighed the envoy's offer against his people's pride. In Israel, protests swelled, splitting between those fearing war and others backing Netanyahu's stand. Social media buzzed with divided hashtags amplifying the global spotlight. A cryptic email reached Traore's desk, hinting at a backchannel to de-escalate, but it demanded he publicly soften his stance, a risk that could fracture his support. As night fell, a lone figure was spotted near a Burkina Faso government building, vanishing into the shadows before guards could act. With less than a day left, the air grew thick with suspicion, and the world watched, hearts racing, wondering if betrayal, defiance, or a last-second deal would shape the next move in this high-stakes showdown, or if the mysterious or else was already in motion, lurking just out of sight. As the final hours of Netanyahu's 48-hour ultimatum to Captain Ibrahim Traoré ticked down, a sudden explosion rocked a remote Burkina Faso outpost, sending shockwaves through the nation and the world. Was this the dreaded or else igniting, or a desperate warning to force Traore's hand? In Ouagadougou, Traoré rushed to the scene, helping pull wounded soldiers from the rubble, his face grim but resolute as he vowed to his people that they would not be broken. The blast, suspected to be from an unmarked drone, bore no clear signature, but whispers of Israeli involvement spread like wildfire. Though Jerusalem stayed silent, Traore's advisors scrambled to secure borders, while he broadcast a defiant message from the capital's heart, his voice booming over cheering crowds, refusing to surrender Burkina Faso's hard-won independence. In Jerusalem, Netanyahu paced his war room, screens flashing with updates, as his team weighed options, sanctions, cyber strikes, or something bolder, knowing a misstep could spiral into a global backlash. Protests swelled worldwide, from Paris to Lagos, with peace activists demanding talks, while others rallied behind Traore's stand against foreign pressure. A tense video call connected the two leaders. Words sharp as knives, Traore accused Netanyahu of aggression, while Netanyahu pressed for